talk about issues that were really very important as they try to provide citizenship education for the citizenry of Sierra Leone. In today's edition, we get a very important topic we want for discourse, and that's now the primacy of communication in mitigating violence. How important communication be, at least for mitigate violence in our country. Now that we get to talk about. But before we start with discussions proper, I would like to first of all give you an update of the things that the National Commission for Democracy they do recently. I will first of all start with one of the major activities we do now for provide sensitization for the public so that then we're able for no say this challenge we get we then call COVID-19. It is real and not done yet, and that we need for take all the necessary measures the government puts in place so that we're able for fight against this virus. So NCD been come together with tribal heads now the western area, the Council of Tribal Heads, then do a sensitization across the western region. We start from Tumbo, Tekam, Godrich, Shell, all the areas, all strategic locations, and we also do the same in other regions across the country. So NCD snap strong one, and they try for provide sensitization or education about the COVID-19 where really creates problem for within the country. The commission also they try for do a workshop for develop messages where we use for help educate people about the things that they're supposed to do and things that they're not for to do, especially so with respect for promote democracy and development in our country. These are the updates and we are get so far. Now we'll come to the panelists we can start with discussion proper, but I will first of all start for introduce the panel. I will start with the man with the on the immediate right. We are the chairman for the National Commission for Democracy, Dr. Abubakar Hassan Kagbo. Chairman, say hello to Fambulem.
The people
and next to the chairman, I get the man with the media too, or the public relations officer too, for the Sierra Leone Police, where now ASP Samuel Sayu Conte. ASP, say hello to Fambulem.
Fambulem, good evening.
And we also get, we activist, we now a legal person, barrister and solicitor Charlie Isaac Williams. Barrister, say hello to Fambulem.
Fambo, how you do?
Okay. Now, these are the people that the team this way I get for discuss this very important topic we are just introduced to, and that is the primacy of communication in mitigating violence. As we know, say violence na thing way like they become common now in our society, and honestly we all know that thing way they really affect development in our society, and they affect so many things, because we know say most of the violence the more they get they result to death and the loss of properties and so many other things. So need for begin for discuss about how for address some of the issues then. But before we start the topic now, or the discussions now, I will first of all ask my panel them or make them get them pick for the week. Chair, what are you pick for this week, sir?
Well, the pick for this week now, this IMF, World Bank and ADB support to vulnerable people in terms of this the socio-economic effect of COVID-19 to them market for that matter. The CDM banks they full up, ask them say people they go take something like $1 million, 300, just for like way with French man say cadeau for nothing, but they do it for cushion the effect of COVID, because man will say when the sick care come, beaucoup business they thrive, the tendency there for them now host. And we get them to come to the nation, we get some lock down them, we walk around the day for them, months them. We better then curtail and from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock or 2 o'clock, you know. So you find out for say, you know, even at that, people when they suffer small, particularly them vulnerable people. So I think say the international community represented by the World Bank, IMF and ADB, the African Development Bank, then say let them give to we the developing countries some money, we go for cushion, we go for help, for let people not suffer too much. Because the sick actually, apart from say they kill them, they were already left, mostly some of them they suffer. Because when they go work no day. So they help government. And government said don't do well for make sure for say this money go round for let people not feel and too much. So now one important thing we are get for this week. Although the other one I go left and for other people where the repeal of the part 5 of the Public Order Act of 1965, which is very, very important for not only the journalists but for good governance. Because that it will help to expand the environment whereby the journalists will get free way for discourse, will come out with information, we're very, very important to the people without them afraid for say they will sort of suffer from a criminal libel. So it's good for say the government keep on to promise and repeal part 5 of this way. Of course, they go a long way for strengthening democratic good governance in the area of the media. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair, for that speak. Just like what you say, government to do well with support we then get from World Bank, at least for like cushion the effects of the coronavirus, because we know what's not the economic impact as we don't discuss that in this studio, we don't begin to see the reality of that. So I feel say it really nice that governments they come in and support people and make themselves get small thing. And you also talk about the repeal of of part 5 of the 1965 Public Order Act, which is also very important. It's again a very huge achievement for the democracy, because this time at least you don't help for support and improve the freedom of expression with the freedom of expression of the country. Now I will call ASP Sayo Conte for giving him pick for this week.
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, family will they watch this program. My own pick we for base purely on this enforcement, but the thing we really move me now the compliance we are see now 2 areas actually. The one now around Upgun, Ross Road, then I move again for come na the extreme west when I lovely. I really feel good because when people hear the word enforcement and just feel say police or the security sector with the force. Yeah, that's the meaning for let we implement, for let people and they put on this face mask. But the thing will move me now the rate in which the citizens then comply. Now then they call officer, look this other person, you know, get a face mask, let you know enter that motor. So it's like people they don't really begin sense the reality of the face mask or the importance of the face mask. So I say if this kind awareness and efforts coming from the people themselves, if you did all about the country, well, it will be very fantastic. So I move, I come back, I can see Lumley, but Lumley on different small because I see the actual enforcement from the local unit commander instead of again at the ground, but we still use the soft approach. We now for talk to people, let them understand the significance of putting on the face mask. So Siraju and family they watch this program. I was very impressed with the kind zeal, courage where the people engage for they put on the face mask.
Thank you very much. I've listened to that one day. It's fine for commend people for that, because people need to be encouraged, you know, for make them with the use the face mask. Because the fact of the matter is, honestly, it's difficult to wear the face mask. But if people know the reality of the situation and you see how much you need them, at least for prevent yourself from catching the disease, I believe say it better make people with the patients and wear them, especially when they're in the midst of other people. Thank you very much for that pick. Now I come to Barrister. What's that pick, sir?
Yes, thank you so much. Reading the news, say police don't release 2 bodies to fumble them na McKinney for burial, and I think so already they don't actually bury them people in it. I just get few things where I notice, and I think say I want to say that loud. The news report say apart from where they give the fumble and the body them, police will make contribution to families for help them with the burial. Well, it sends some mixed feelings for like me and one person we believe say, in as much as the family accept money from police concerning that situation there, I don't think say it okay for the news reporter, because the message where they send, as I say, mix. It appear like say, oh, every people here don't die, and then and can't give the family the money. Then news the report say, in fact, they even state the amount. But for me as an activist, I think say, it's not ethical. It's really not ethical. And I would say, Salon police no get money where they reserve for the families them in connection with that kind of thing. I just hope say not to that's not the situation at all. That would be my pick, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. You for service say the media again for be careful with the things, the kind of things them within the reports.
Definitely.
Something and then when you report them, it gets the kind message where they send out where maybe it can be negative when the intention of doing the act itself is positive. Since I think say you pick really be in line with what we try for discuss today, because we look at communication, the primacy of communication in mitigating violence, because we know say communication gets a huge role for play, for the people who coexist, because now how we understand ourselves and they determine our reactions. Now we come to discussions proper, but before I go, I'll just remind people say then they watch NCD HOUR program where they come to them courtesy of the National Commission for Democracy. And today we discuss the topic, the primacy of communication in mitigating violence. Me and the moderator Ibrahim Sirajuba, and with me I get in the studio the chairman for the National Commission for Democracy, Dr. Abubakar Hassan Kagbo. I get the PRO2 of the Sierra Leone Police, we have ESP Samuel Sayo Conte, and I get we activist winner Barrister and Solicitor Charlie Israel Williams. Chair,
yes, please.
Make us start with you. Now, first of all, this thing they can talk about now something really very huge, but I go find to make people really understand what's really the true meaning of communication.
Well, communication, if I for broken down, now way you want to tell either a person or a group of persons or any other entity, you want pass on a message for let them do waiting you want let them do inside that message there. That communication for let them know, let them be aware, let them know they're in the dark. So that information they go make them, let them understand. For give people an understanding, for let them do something when the actual thing for do. Me feel say the communication. You tell them either by television, radio, or message, or any town crier, but for no more people are aware. Say this thing they happen, now communicate, you don't communicate to them. Say that's also for do, that's also not for do. So the way you communicate to people, you don't make them aware of the environment, of what they happen. So for that we bring this topic this time, for local about the importance, the benefit of when you tell person what it for do, what is necessary for do, and when it want, what is the benefit of the country is very, very important, not only for society in terms of the social relationship, but also political relationship. Because when you tell the community, the people, you sensitize them for let them aware, become aware let them come up on that ignorant situation they there, then you don't when they do them, you don't communicate because the receiving end don't understand, they don't get the message. You know, I think say Dr. Wilbur Scrum, communication theory, it says the message you pass on through the medium, then you reach the recipient, then of course do a response according to. Okay. So communication very important.
Communication very important. So you try for service teacher now like an instrument where they use for let people understand themselves, so that at least you be able to help them for do things and live amicably in a society.
Yes.
So provided that the right communication goes.
Now it will be proper. It will be proper type of communication. Okay. And effective communication. Okay. And that communication then will be based on dialogue, consensus. Because not communication will superimpose. If you superimpose them, then that democratic nature of community. When you discuss, when you come to a consensus, they all know. So don't communicate. Okay.
Now let me get this definition of communication or explanation of communication from the side of the police. Since you said yeah, so make them give me what's it really mean, or what's it really you understand about communication, looking at it from the angle of the police.
Yeah, thank you very much, Siraju. Of course, the Sierra Leone police as an institution, communication they play a very vital role for their society to be very quiet, for their peace prevail, their stability day. So indeed Doc don't analyze them. Me want just emphasize on the aspect of that feedback. If communication they take place, that understanding get for day, because whatever way you communicate, if they see, for example, people they play football, okay, then they can see, for example, so OSD they all count gone. I think they're not safe. Then they communicate, hey, it's not trouble. But if people they play ball and see just ordinary general duty personnel, we snap, we observe the match, then go fix it, then they can help we for them not fetch no be, then they protect the people. And so for me, the understanding it go a long way now for result to the feedback. And the feedback now how the person receive the message, how he understand you, and so he will send the feedback. So for the Sierra Leone police, we believe say yes, we not only for talk, we can say effective speaker, but for also be people who they listen, when are active listening ability. Now that's people say then don't they sip on the police, because if we know say now we too want, yes, don't analyze that side in the dialogue aspect. But also back for able for sit down and listen, say yes, this particular community, we want for this community peaceful. We send the message to now, waiting will make this community peaceful. But we also get for listen to the people in that community as to how, because now they did. So for be an effective communicator, you for only sabi talk, but you forget patience for listening to the person or the community really talk to.
Okay, thank you very much. You just begin telling me just not say you get other ways for communicate apart from just talking. Like you tell me say when you get office, when you see like OSD then come then gets going, you get a message really same. But like we get for touch on the communication strategy of the police, make her just come to Mr. Williams. So if he's an activist, at least making your angle of communication, even though when I explanation about that very clear, but then we get varying views. Barrister.
Yes.
What's really the communication?
Yes, I think say the chairman and also we border from SLP don't explain now. Just that when you talk about communication, three things they will stand out and then don't talk about them. You where they communicate, where normally you can say sender, and the person where it is talk to, where they communicate to, we can say the recipient or the receiver, and then the things itself where it communicate the message. And most times we don't see say for that communication be effective, as we want to say, whatever message you put out, you either they expect a response from the receiver, or you they expect a result. The communication will either give you a result or a response. When that happens, then you say the communication is effective. And what normally we don't see from the activist point of view when it comes to communication, now that there are times when, remember say communication they originate from the sender. Tell them the way we don't see say the sender. Now in the problem, the source, whose side communication come out, how it come out, when it come out. Because we also talk about timeliness, and all of that. You know, then before we now talk about the message itself, how you package it, whose kind of message it be. Messages are different. We get oral message, where we can normally call verbal, and we get non-verbal, where we write the writer, or we get another thing called meta communication. So then they need talk nothing, they write nothing, but just you conduct your behavior. Wait till you put up, they communicate. You understand? Like basically, wait till I talk about this one, I'm a pick. Just that action, they get a lot of communication, lot of things where they send out, and people they misinterpret. So as misinterpretation occurs, so the other side not receive, because we got to call encode and decode. The sender they encode the message, the receiver they decode. If the decoding get problem, then the communication not effective at all. Okay. But waiting to make the decoding get problem, now we encode the message. And messages sometimes will get good intention, but because of high packager, and when you release her, it can make the coding self get problem. And when that happen, we know the implication, again implication, where communication not get the necessary effect, and not get the necessary result or the response, we know it can happen. Like when we board at the talk, you tell somebody, say, stop this, come on, if you do this, I will do so. And then it tend not for understand them or misinterpret them, it get implication. And so now then thing then they basically we don't see the happen in our society.
Okay. I think from an analysis, anybody when they listen to this program could get a thorough understanding, if at all they listen carefully, thorough understanding of what's in communication really about. And from what you say, the originator of the message, it starts from there. The kind of message we develop, and you send the message. Sometimes even the medium we use for sending the message, all that one day they count, and the reaction we they get always, so most times it depends on how you develop the message and how you send the message. I just make a memo about me Islamic notes when this now you are the camera because I know you know the Tabi said when they talk about the hadith of the Prophet, there's three things. One, what's the image they say. Two, things and way where Englishman can say you can approve tacit approval, something you can just see, you just allow them for go on. That again, they tell you say we not for like see somebody you do back just left them. No. It's like they approve them because that's again a way for communicating, you know, and the way how you they appear again, because that's again one of the things and the three things that we make up the hadith of the Prophet. They say the way how they appear, the way they do things. So anything you do, somebody else will see you and say, this person is to do this thing, so myself for do I'm good. So you I don't know, you see I'm saying comprehensive way that's for
yes, of course. The communication for the well calculated. If you know the consequences of that message, which is likely for brain count. So your appearance forget a message to people for become a role model. Your appearance can either sort of give you 100% or it can give 0% by the way. Then your attitude towards wrongful activity. You know, like when you talk, there this, you probably say you get either you stop you use your hand, or you not talk at all. They say, but when you talk, now the weakest form of activity than they. So you need for talk, you need for stop particularly when wrong thing happen. So when we communicate, important, if it be well calculated, you don't just bring and cancel without no inconsequences. And for that, people can get communication strategy. Within the strategy, say, the blueprint where you go put for implementation. Again, that is too sacrosanct, too foolproof. You can sort of just put them as a test sort of a blueprint. So communication, very, very important, because if communication not there, then there is no society. Communication, then they make society they work. Communication, then the catalyst, when they make things and work within. So if your communication bad, that bad thing it bring come inside the society. But if the communication good, you go find say it will catalyze the society well. It will come out the way you want them. Because any sender, it got the idea as to what you want for receipt at the end. Which is why in politics you make sure say the communication where you bring out is well calculated, and if you forget the desired result, that is the good result of everything. You don't approximate. Say good. If you come out bad now, but go back to come out 100% back. You understand? So communication for be well calculated, communication for be well sort of couch, so that say waiting if they bring come to me back, whether the sender might be good. Waiting they bring come might be good. It's like we take the philosophy of Plato, which say unless they want to understand, then they be fool. Why they for the fool? Because when they understand, they don't go do the wrong thing where the society will kick back. It's say governance for rule people for organize the society. If for they now people will understand. Because if you don't understand, then you're in the dark. And when you're in the dark, you go do things where you go put people into limbo. You go push them into some hole where they will go destroy themselves. So you have to communicate well, so that the people they not go, you don't destroy the people. You understand? And you self go make sure say the society it gets waiting it gets. It's like in communication theory, say you the individual for know your environment. If you scan for know waiting there around you, so that you go behave well, so that you go know how to behave. You understand? So similarly, that's what communication does.
You probably say in communication, not so for just talk no more for make savvy talk.
No.
Therefore also take into consideration the culture of the people,
exactly,
the society of the people. The same message we go say in other way. Sometimes where they will talk.
You go put them back yes.
With the same message.
Yeah,
but one thing I just want to make well, draw your attention to share. Now we talk about maybe from the top for communicate to the bottom. But as a good governance institution, before the people themselves get room for play.
Yes.
That issue of because mind you, within a society where the small one instead they learn from the big one them. If the big one they do something way wrong in our society, it means they communicate bad message to the beginner and then they take that. If say you get some of them see how they affect the society.
Of course it does. It does.
Okay.
We owe social responsibility, to everyone. As citizens, that civic responsibility is to make sure say society is in order. So as a sort of a citizen, you see things they go bad, sort of try to stop them. They see people when they misbehave, try to intervene. You understand? They see the bad thing, they just left and so loose, like say you to part of society. Because that's where they come back to you. Okay. It will affect you back as an individual. So you have civic responsibility.
Now come to barrister. Now let me look at communication. How communication they make people live in a peaceful atmosphere. What's in communication they do? What's in the effects or what's in a role? How effective? It will be for it make society live well.
Okay. When like what chairman say, when people know knowledge, when they know waiting good, waiting for do, and waiting not for do, then society they operate in harmony. So communication basically, now for let people able interact, let life go on, and then outside difficulty they, like can also use the word dialogue, consultation, it's about consensus. This all now the power we communication get. Now communication they able to facilitate that aspect of community interface from one group to another. Take for example, quite recently in the vocabulary we get to call community policing. What is community policing? No, say we get one particular area where then they report armed robbery, or then they report some kind crime. Well, persistently, this issue of community policing, now where the police they go to this community now and begin to engage them people here. Talk with them. This is what happen. So when I get any knowledge, when I get any suspicion, any place in this community where some kind of people and they will not to understand what they up to and all, that will only happen because interface day, bridge no day, gap no day. They able to reach one another. Remember I say communication also they talk about language. Language not just mean tribe. They talk about waiting common where you go understand and where me go understand. The language for communicate. Okay? All of them kind tier. They make community go on well. But when the communication and community wrong, hey, people let misunderstand themselves. Development not the day. I mean, you just mentioned about the hadith. Not also. But if you go now to the Bible, like you talk about something in Genesis, it say time come the people and say, then they build tower na Babel, where they go right up to God. I don't say that story self then Quran. And God said them people here, the only way go make they not succeed for let this tower go up. Like confuse their language. So when this talk, that they not go hear it. And what is this thing about language? Language simply means the channel, the means where we they use for communicate. Interestingly, that very language day, now you know the problem.
Okay.
I can tell you simply say, boy, you go find all we gonna do so that we go catch some air and we'll kind side back. That same message there, the theme, now let we gonna do not so. Somebody go kind and say clear out. Gonna do. Not so. Somebody go come and use the F word, say gonna do. The same message, the theme is gonna do. But how you say it, which method you use and all, that's the language.
Okay.
And so, just as you say, waiting communication they do, how important for society, that communication they make society go on well, what do they expect say for be. But if communication is wrong, if it's poor, then problem day.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's a very succinct analysis you did give of how communication they help for make society live in harmony, for make society live together. We get to be careful the way how we talk, what we talk and what we do, because it really help for make or break society. That's very important. Make I just remind family say the program we listen to na NCD HOUR, where they come to them courtesy of the National Commission for Democracy. In today's program we talk about the primacy of communication in mitigating violence, and with me in the studio I get the chairman of the National Commission for Democracy, Dr. Abubakar Hassan Kagbo. I get ASP Sayu Conte, where are the PRO2 of the Sierra Leone Police, And I also get Charlie Israel Williams, barrister and solicitor, now an activist. Maybe they bring the program to you, Mina Ibrahim Sirajuba. And they come now to the PRO of the police. Recently we get the space of violence recently look increase. We get the one at Tombo where they get confrontation, people and police. We get the one at Godrich, we get the one at McKinney recently. All of these ones, if I now say the police, they get issues with people. Could it mean that communication problem there, or what's exactly the strategy where the police they use for engaging people elsewhere, and why it can turn out to be violence?
Thank you very much, Raju. Of course, barrister and doctor really don't hit the nail. In communication, one thing, of course, I got to be all here are communicators based on my background, and of course, we all must have read mass communication. So, my angle, now that bad part of disinformation, where for me, almost all the incidents then the disinformation, the most underlining what they are, now that deliberate, where an individual set of people they know say this way they can put out this audio, this particular thing I can write, deliberately not to true. He really no say this thing to true deliberately. That's the underlining word. They dish them out. We dish them out now the social media or the traditional media or whatever. You want them now they see them, then step just they take a shiba. Then they misinform. But the originator don't disinform. So we in the Nigerian police, we get social media policy. Yes, we personnel them. If you're not sure of any information or news, always make sure you consult the media and public relations unit in the Sierra police. If any personnel just send something now WhatsApp or Facebook, that thing they can result in a lie, definitely we they bring and come under the disciplinary regulation, and also we will look into the effect of that particular thing. If you get some criminal aspects, we also deal with them criminally. So what am I saying here? The incidents they are all Siraju family they watch this program. Now bad people, yes, bad people they start, and I make we doctor talk about understanding, barrister talk about understanding. If the one then we understand, that I will use the word the wicked, they not like the country. They know they come boku for calling the message. Then just the left and give one person or few people say now I will talk this, and I will talk this on air. Where we always them the train Ross Road, we then for go mission in Somalia. They the sing one song way Uyu. So very recently we see on social media say it's so hard, my brother. The individual or the people employing them in a way say the OSD them, that is the police, you understand? Now murder be. So I was there, then the one then we can send this thing. But we try go thank you. We'll be able to debunk them very fast, and we self will put out our own correct information. But this is the bad part, the disinformation aspect. Yeah. When the one the way they start, so the one that now they see and they just spread out. So we know the waste time safe for that. We allow for that bad message spread out.
Yeah, ASP, like you did say, not true say you get bad eggs, you get bad people. Most times across the world, you get them kind of people, and we always they try for undermine certain institutions, especially the security forces, with the kind of message they're willing to send. But I've really said the police again supposed to get a robust way, a strategy for counter their information. No sooner it pop up than be able to come out with something for show people them say this is not the correct thing, this is not the wrong thing. Maybe by doing that, you not say the police were effectively go on top of situations that somebody do himself no good succeed. Because honestly, NCD we self do with flyers on social media. We do some flyers and where we try for advise people them say for fights against COVID-19. Somebody from the South America, they take the flyer, they edit and they put coronavirus 419 something like that. And we picked it up. Immediately we picked it up, what we did was to write a press release. We do a press release immediately and share them the forum where the person share them and other forum. So that you not say the police need for like that same way, you know, like you get the media team. Look at them and you get others and again also they complement the media team for give them information and put out message for counter them and for let the public know say this is correct and this is not correct. You not really no need to forget that kind robust. And also the other part of the question where I asked, you not touched that side is most of our engagement they turn out to be violent. What's really key responsible for that? Was it because we not engage them early, or was it because we not just feel enough, we just go and enforce the law at once, or we not use thorough communication with the people? What's exactly not the problem?
Okay, of course, that first aspect, indeed, the public to a very large extent don't commend the Sierra Leone police in the way how we react, respond or debunk misinformation and disinformation. That one simple strategy, whenever we see something we not correct, we speedily put out the correct information through public notices. And that one, I tell the public to say, yes, the Sierra Leone police always can do a very fine public notice where we set the record straight. Also, we press releases. Thirdly, we also can call journalists them in a weekly press conference for set the record straight. Every week we must get press conference in police headquarters where they set the record straight. And also the social media aspect. We, as I say, get a social media policy. Also, we not believe say anything we go make the police lose confidence, and the people that lose confidence from the police will fall on and full foot. So all the mechanisms or strategies that they will work very effectively with the management of the Sierra Leone police within the support we. Coming down to the communication with the public, when it comes to public order issue, yes, the word itself, order, peace, quietness, order, like we in parliament, order, let everybody keep quiet. So many times waiting at the problem, and I make a like this topic, the perception in which the people, especially the youths, not the youth for Ben, how the youths don't perceive for react to certain things, and they trust me, my brother. Nothing way for come out very simple, quietly, low Siba, that policeman, the way to go fire them. Based on waiting the way how the youth man, because that premeditatedness, I don't know if they don't get time, say, yeah, now do all that, this thing. If something big ways than the when I think they dissolve.
SP, you don't feel say sometimes now the misinformation with the public you don't get. Maybe the police like you don't correct them yes before they go there, then they get that kind of resistance. You don't feel say like if the police doing investigation find out say misinformation already there, try for clear the misinformation for and come. You don't feel say that one for the help to avoid most of the tensions.
Yeah, that really help, and we don't do that. But why the things still continue? That the aspects, because we don't do that, we don't point that, and we don't send out to press release public notices there, but still people are just too lawless for confront state institutions or law enforcement agencies. Waiting at the essence for confront. If you do them, for instance, and like you at one thing, trust me, nobody know the way go gladly for let somebody die. Nobody for let somebody go lost in life. Nobody need the gladly for that one. So what am I saying here? The way in which, okay, something go occur. If not 15 youths, 30 youths in camp. Yes. Almost you don't have gone full and full foot. We need a touchstone, we need to go burn tire, we need to go burn health center day, we need to go burn the electricity, we need to go touch it. All man just sit down quiet one, say, yeah, we need a gap here, waiting we want that this thing. If you find out, say, that police will go under force. Certain are just 4 policemen will go there because they see how peaceful, quiet, they don't get any violent in threats upon them. Go there, talk to them. But many a time, as did something start, take tick, take cutlass, make stone. So that premeditatedness in the system, that to me, that you now one big problem.
Okay, we will come to that. Honestly, we say we commend the police. The police did very good work. Though we feel say, at least now need for look back at our strategies and see how we're able for address some of the issues. Somebody sent a very interesting message. We are going for it, and I want for through this message to all of them. I will start with the chairman, but I'll read them. It's a very interesting program by NCD on the importance of communication in mitigating violence. We have witnessed a lot of violence in and around the country. Could it be a breakdown in communication that is the trigger for such violence? Is there willingness on the part of trade unions to listen to each other? How do we ensure effective communication between the governors and the governed in the promotion of democratic good governance? Chair.
Yeah, and a very interesting question. You see, when we try to find out, waiting at the cause, the individual way not the agent for this violence, waiting at capability in terms of civic education. You see, against the backdrop of civic education within that individual, it will mitigate any propaganda. But now, because of the ignorance, lack of civic education on the part of the people or the community, they can play around, they bring language of propaganda for let them behave in another way when the policeman, officer try for tell so. Say people with some premeditated thing because they lack civic education. That means they lack the sensibility to knowing that they are Sierra Leoneans and they must not resort to violence. But when people decided to accept propaganda, well, be it political or otherwise, in front of us, they will not listen. And communication will not have any effect. Whether it is good, whether it's good intention, you understand? Because it is politically motivated. So these are the problems. But in a society, like in the third world or in the developed one, you can get 10-tier all term. So policemen will be much more proactive, like I talk for counteract their sort of assertions and way not all go well for security. Therefore be very, very proactive because like social fact. See, there are certain people we call degenerate men and women who try to undermine the cohesiveness of society. They always want for their pay so that they will benefit. They want chaos and anarchy. And to avoid chaos and anarchy, which was why the paraphernalia of force, be it the army and the police, they emerge. But when they emerge, therefore ensure, say, they get effective communication for them play that role day, that historic role day, without the naked use of power. Okay. You understand? As some auto put down. That means to let you can pull policemen and they march from Klein Town to Okogo Cross. You know what that means? You communicate. So we're here. Our presence should be felt. Yeah. But at the same time, you get the community policing, you cajole the people then, educate them to knowing what they should know. So that if possible, you can tell and say, we not do this so. Now, so we not mix so, we not do what they do. But most of the people them do not understand. So when propaganda message come, then they use them. So if I'm not for say, if they spoil the thing, they become spoilers. Okay. So we will be well of that one.
Charlie, because we know
yes, I know. For me, it's very interesting. Understand, say people in our society we can undermine the peace, but not a justification in any way. And that is what I disagree with. And I'll continue to disagree with this. It's not justify for the police use what we call excessive force. I mean, attire for see where we police them, where they say na citizens. They shoot gun and kill other Sierra Leoneans. Yes, we can say some people then conduct their behavior, riotous and all. Yes, we agree. But in other places, in civilized world, we get ways and we handle their situations then they, until it come to that point. You know, people who have gone, then get training where they go through, then get that stage where they go reach, where they go kill person. But you get outside the start. You can fire your gun up for scare away. If say you for fire the person, if you reach that stage where you for really fire the person, then you are not shooting that person to kill. You are not shooting the person for die. You they disable them. You they make them inactive, ineffective. You they disable them. That's what you do. That make police can get some other things. If you watch now in the Western world, then get rubber bullet, then get that shocker, electric, then get pepper spray, then get hot water. Let us use these things. But for kill we compete with fellow citizens, I want for tell this loud and clear, we tire against this country for make police, they kill with people them. And I can say for me, it offend me somehow for see news they write say, then give 3 million to the 2 families where they give them body for arrange the burying. It's very offensive. Very, very offensive. So I don't agree with them people who they undermine peace in our society. I don't agree with them today, and I agree with them forever. But how will they handle situations in this country? We need for do them in a way that will not send bad message.
Okay.
No, not send bad message at all.
Okay.
The police good. Any society where police not day, that society there, if they leave they commodity. Because your life not safe. But we for ensure say we protect citizens.
Okay. ASP.
Yes, of course, time no day are gladly for the analysis. Of course, barrister, indeed, that will be fine if we get time. Actually, the investigation is ongoing. I make police know the touch, and it's how it be. We know the touch that side for investigate. Now, neutral people in the investigate. As I say, it is very, very sorrowful for them we lost in life in this country. The work of the police. Now for now, we make sure say people really stay safe or protect everybody in life, and the way in which people miss these rules of engagement. To be very realistic, now we don't talk here. Say the polite request. 9 January, we tell them politely, na course. Say, do ya, una not move past that line. Una go dey behind that una all una placards there. Now that time you will see most of the one the way it cause them here, my brother. They really lawless and they really not get ethics. So then they jump the line, farm order will come. After polite request, farm order come. Then they listen to polite request, then they listen to farm order, then they listen to the physical touching if we use truncheon. Come to a point, but I now go to section 16 as in a
Yes.
Exactly.
We'll get back to that. Make we continue this
I think
discussion.
what they need to say we need more civic education.
Okay.
So in this connection, I want to tell government thank you through the Ministry of Economic Planning and Development for making them programs here possible.
Okay.
Because we need to educate the people then. When we educate the people then, they will know what to do and they don't become victims.
So which means the work comes back to NCD and the Civic Council.
Exactly.
Civic Council for provide civic education to the public.
Exactly.
And family the program we've been listening to now NCD HOUR, we come to the courtesy of the National Commission for Democracy. So there will be a talk about the primacy of communication in mitigating violence, especially in Sierra Leone. With me in this studio, I've been get the chairman of the National Commission for Democracy, Dr. Abubakar Hassan Kagbo. I've been get with me also the PRO of the Sierra Leone Police, Media 2, ASP Samuel Sayo Conte, and Charlie Israel Williams, an activist, we're also a lawyer. And me will bring the program to you, Mina Ibrahim Sirajuba, Media and Communications Manager at the National Commission for Democracy. Till we meet again, stay blessed.
This is the Vicky Ramos Show in Kabala, Warawara Chiefdom, Koinadugu District, the northern province of Sierra Leone. It just slapped me in my face. Onawali from Koinadugu.